Well, look at that. A W. How about that from the Philadelphia 76ers and the Philadelphia Eagles? You can even talk about that. They made sure that your Sunday was not wasted. It was an enjoyable one. You get 2 W's out of the day for your hometown team as the Sixers snap their 5-game losing streak, defeating the Charlotte Hornets at home. In the process, picking up their first home win of the season, 107-105. Jared McCain stars in this one as he led the team in scoring with a career high, 27. We'll get to all of that, much more here with Rich Hoffman, Derek Bodner. I'm Devon Givens. Brianna's here with us as always. Thank you for hanging out with us from the pregame to the watch along and checking back in with us here on the postgame and our postgame show. Of course, presented by our good friends from Bet365. Although we didn't hit our numbers, our bets in the pregame, it's okay because we still have plenty of games, especially when Joel Embiid gets back, where we start to really hit our stride with Bet365. So we appreciate everybody again for hanging out with us. And Derek, I mean, they put us through the ringer on this one to get this win. But the positive of it, outside of the fact that they get a win and snap their 5-game losing streak, is their rookie really starting to show some true signs of being why they drafted him, being a part of this rotation, and getting some solid minutes here tonight.
Yeah, and look, I'm sure at some point in this show, we're going to nitpick some of the things that annoyed us, both from what the Sixers did and maybe what the refs did. But certainly there are 2 main takeaways. First of all, you picked up a win. Those have been hard to come by when Joel Embiid has been on the bench, both this season and historically. That is a massive deal, especially in the Eastern Conference, where these Charlotte Hornets, who are now 4-6, came into the night with the 4th best record in the East. So if you can pick up a game here and close down the gap between there and maybe the 3 seed where you want to get to without Joel Embiid on the floor, that's a huge deal. And also Jared McCain. It's obvious, like the guy finished with 27 points in 31 minutes off the bench, made 3 threes, shot 10 of 18 from the field. He is looking better and better each and every game. And as the Sixers start picking up a lot of their star players back, I really think there's almost no way you can take him out of the rotation right now. I think you've got to keep him going. He's had a couple of good games here in a row, and he just gave the Sixers a threat and a level of shot creation juice that they just didn't have, especially when you're talking about in the overtime period when Paul George had reached his minutes limit. Tyrese Maxey is out. Joel Embiid is out. And they still turned to a 20-year-old rookie who is, 9 games into his NBA career. For them to sit there and put the ball in his hands and be like, all right, Rook, you got this. That was a lot of confidence. Obviously, they didn't have a ton of options available to them. But he has so far, so drastically outplayed a lot of the Sixers' other guard options right now. It speaks a little bit about the other guard options and the way they're struggling, but a lot of it about a rookie who is just ready quicker than I think any of us expected.
He was terrific tonight. I think Sixers fans have not had a lot to be happy about so far this year. It's been a tough watch. But to not only win a game, but to have your young rook, somebody who you didn't know what you exactly were going to get from this year. You thought, hey, maybe if he has a chance to be good, it might not come in this first year. 10 games into his career, to have that performance, 27 points, 10 of 18 from the field, because Paul George apparently hit his minutes limit, I guess. Yeah. They were running offense through him down the stretch in overtime, and he was getting it done. There were 2 big buckets that stood out to me, guys. They finally lost a lead. It was about 3 minutes left, and they're down 1. And they go to Jared McCain hunting LaMelo Ball, gets his shoulder into him, and takes about, it was like an elbow jumper, knocks it down, restores order when things were going really poorly for them. And then in overtime, you're down 1 with, I think it was about 1:30 left. He crosses up Grant Williams.
Yes.
And he gets by him. He gets his shoulders all the way by him. And that's something we had worried about. I think Derek and I talked about this during Summer League. I know you guys definitely talked about it during Summer League that, okay, he's going to have to work around his athletic limitations. Grant Williams, decent switch defender, and he torched him off the dribble and got that layup. And it was great, man. Did some great work with some craft in the pick and roll. Did some great stuff with his catch and shoot. He was awesome. And I'll just say this because of all the shenanigans that went on late in the game. The Sixers self-inflicted wounds, the inflicted wounds from the refs. I don't know what. Jared McCain has a turnover on his box score that he should not have. to get that win, but also have a rookie step up and think, maybe we have something here. Maybe we have something sooner than we thought. That's a big deal.
So I'll even go to the overtime, final few minutes of the overtime, where with all the points that he put up on the board to 27 and feeling good, being out there, getting into a really good rhythm and being the player that we're starting to see right now in front of our eyes. But for me, especially at the end, for him to defend, man up the way he did on LaMelo Ball to force that turnover of a shot clock violation with 34 seconds left that wound up knocking off another 16 or so seconds just simply because of the turnover and the Sixers get the ball. We know about what happened with the foul, LaMelo Ball, and then they overturned it. Jump center at 16 seconds to go there. One of the other concerns that not only did we talk about in the draft process, during the draft night, summer league, preseason, and as early as this West Coast trip, was his defense. How easily guys were running right by him with just 1-2 dribble moves to get by Jared McCain on the perimeter to get to what they wanted to do to get to their spot, finish at the rim, or play make, if you will. But for the game to be on the line the way that it was, playing against an all-star level player who is standing at 6'7", basically towering over him, much better with the speed with the ball in his hands as well. And by the way, a game high in what did he have, 38 for LaMelo Ball. So he was cooking a little bit at that point and getting to the basket against some veteran defenders. For him to man up and stand him up and force him to throw a cross-court pass with 1 second left on the shot clock, not allow him to get into his step back that he had made a few previously to make this a game in the first place, to force the overtime. That's not the best play of the night, but it was a damn good play of the night to go along with the offense that he put up there on the board because of the mere fact that we discuss his defense so much and how much of a turnstile he is or a traffic cone he is at this point of his career. And it's early and he can get better. But this was a little bit of a progress there to show that type of play against a guy like LaMelo Ball there with the game on the line, where the score at the time was 105-104 Sixers. And we're sitting there doing the watch along. You all are out there. We're in overtime anyway. It's only right that the Hornets are going to score here on a three-pointer on a step back on Jared McCain. But he defended his man, forced him into a pass and a shot clock violation there, and then all the other nonsense that happened after that. But that was a huge play to go along with the points that Rich made and Derek made as well for the rookie to, in that spot, make that big-time defensive play.
We talked about this when he got drafted, that, okay, maybe you didn't like some of his skill set or whatever, but I think anybody who works in the NBA would tell you that it was like, this is an A-plus kid that you were drafting, and somebody who's going to be a super hard worker, and that doesn't mean everything. There are a lot of really hard workers in the NBA.
Sure.
But to me, I think the plays he made, and Devon, specifically the defensive play you're talking about, that shows me somebody who's not afraid, right?
That goes along with the shots that he was taking to show he's not afraid. So you combine the defensive play with those shots against veteran players, an all-star in LaMelo Ball, and a guy in Grant Williams who, look, despite how he's built, right? He's built differently, but he can move his feet, and that was the one credit that a lot of people give Grant Williams for his size, being able to move laterally the way that he does. That's not looked at as just an easy cover, but they were hunting him.
Yeah.
Get me him on a switch, and while he is not the fastest, he doesn't have this blazing speed to get by his defender, he is crafty. So right now, I'm already seeing, you know what's going to be on that scouting report? Dribble to the legs, go left, spin back to your right. That's on the scouting report now for Jared McCain because he did it over and over again tonight with that spin move to get into the paint, not giving up his dribble, keeping the dribble alive to get to the basket in order to finish that layup. And even though he had a few, again, roll off the front lip of the rim, he got those off. And even one you brought up of, the old crafty one, Kobe Bryant, get the ball up. Other side, Kelly Oubre, offensive rebound, the Kobe assist. And so now what he's going to have to do, he's going to have to now have that counter to that spin move because that's going to be something that's on film. And they saw it. They saw it happen and to a positive effect for him. So now they're going to have to counter that and see what happens. But those were some big plays tonight. The pull-up jumpers that Derek, you just kept talking about in the paint. Hey, you got to adjust, kid. You know what he did? Let me knock down this 10-footer. Those are not always easy.
Yeah.
Those are not always easy. I saw Kelly Oubre miss 2 of them, a veteran in the game who can make that shot. Those are not always easy. They were nothing but net on those shots. Just a strong performance by him in his, 8th game that he's playing, the 9th game that he's playing in his NBA career. Doing so with the game on the line, your other all-star, your 2 all-stars sitting on the bench, your other one's on a minute restriction, and they're calling your number. You're running pick and rolls with Andre Drummond and Guerschon Yabusele down the stretch of the game. This is the Jared McCain game, as somebody said here in the chat earlier. Good for him because this is something that's going to keep him, at least for the short term right now, keep him in the rotation.
Absolutely.
No, and even with the defense, we question his foot speed at times. We point out some of the rookie mistakes that he makes because he's a rookie. But I think we all believe 2 things. First, the compete level is there. And second of all, that the headiness, when he starts learning a little more of what's asked of him in the scheme, will be there. It's just how long will it take to catch up? And you're right. He had some really strong defensive moments in this game. I think we're all going to come away with the 27 points, the big threes, the shot creation at the end, all the big shots that he made down the stretch in both the fourth quarter and overtime. But he made some pretty heady defensive plays as well. It was just a really, really nice coming out party for a young player who, if he can pop and pop earlier than expected, because there is so much uncertainty in that guard rotation, there is a lot of age in that guard rotation. If a young player can pop, and look, I will still always default to coaches don't like playing rookies on teams with expectations, but he has been so far and away better than the other options there that it's great to see, and I really want to see him get an extended run.
You mentioned the defensive plays. When Andre Drummond was giving up all those offensive boards, there was once or twice he stuck his nose in there and he got the board. And I think we knew that. I think part of the scouting report on him coming out of Duke was that he will stick his nose in there. He's tough. He's a good rebounder.
And that one where he got on the floor to tip the ball away to give them the opportunity to get that possession. That's the epitome of a floorboard right there for the Sixers.
And is that, obviously, is this type of performance sustainable? Probably not early on. But number one, the Sixers needed this game more than a lot of games they will need from him later in the season, right? Yeah. They needed this came at the perfect time. They were desperate. We said it on the pregame. They needed a result, and Jared McCain got them the result. And you can see a rotation player. You can see the outline of that guy in there. I've seen in the chat people have brought up TJ McConnell. I think Malcolm Brogdon was somebody I used to throw out. Just these guys that have
I like the McConnell comparison.
A low center of gravity who can create space both with craft and quickness, but also are pretty strong too, and can use that off shoulder without committing an offensive foul, rise up and take a free throw line jumper over you as well. So look, good, really, really good performance from him. And it's like we've been saying, I know you guys have been desperate for content after a lot of these losses. It's like he has the skill set that you need. Even before he was playing well, you guys were making the case that, hey, at least he can dribble and chew gum at the same time, right? But if he's actually going to provide you with solid minutes, then it's even more of a no-brainer to keep him in the rotation. So I think, we'll see. Coaches can be fickle with rookies. I don't really have a great feel for Nick Nurse on that front yet. Obviously, we know what Doc was like with rookies. He probably wouldn't have even been in the game. But I would imagine he's going to be in the rotation for at least the foreseeable future here. He's earned it.
Yeah, no doubt.
He was really good. I'm glad you brought up those rebounds, sticking his nose in there where Drummond wasn't securing those rebounds. It was tough for Yabusele, and we'll get to him later. But even when he was boxing out his man to allow the other guys to come in there and grab that rebound, that was Jared McCain or Kyle Lowry getting in there, swooping in there to get that board. He also had one on the other end of the floor, where he was the one who just went up 2 hands, which how much did we talk about? He went in there 2 hands, secured that rebound. I was like, all right, enough is enough in this overtime. Let me grab this rebound, because they needed it, and he was the one who stuck his nose in there and got it.
No, after watching Mo Bamba last year, Kyle every game would be like, go up with 2 hands. So yes, a rookie doing that, especially a 6'2" guard, is great to see.
Yeah, so good stuff from Jared McCain. The conversation is not done with him. We'll get to more with him and the positive signs from Jared McCain, how well he played tonight. We see you all in the chat. We see the super chats. We'll get to those. We got to talk about Guerschon Yabusele as well, because he was tremendous in this game for what is asked of him, continued to be asked of him. He continues to also show some really good signs here as the Sixers win 107-105. They're now 2-7. Oh, goodness, 2-7 on the season.
2-7, and it feels so good.
Feels so good, man. They get their first home win of the campaign, and now they have two more on Tuesday and Wednesday. Knicks, Cavs, respectively, here in Philadelphia at the Center in South Philly. We'll talk about Yabusele and some more positive things from this win as the Sixers secure their second win of the season, 107-105. We come right back here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Game time.
Well, look, not only are the Sixers on a one game's not a winning streak. I'm calling it a winning streak. I don't care.
That's right.
Not only are they on a winning streak, but
Spray
Joel
water
Embiid
bottles.
should be back on the floor the next time they play. You're going to want to make sure you get to a game, and Game Time is the place that you want to go. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Here are some of the other great features that make Game Time easy to use. They have all-in pricing, so when you toggle this feature, it shows the total up front with no surprise fees. At checkout, that was incredibly useful when we were out in Las Vegas trying to get tickets to the Sphere. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so there are no surprises when you get to the stadium. They have their lowest price guarantee, so if you find tickets in the same section or row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Then there's a Game Time ticket coverage, which makes your purchase covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it, Devon?
Game time. Who? Cliff Livingston, baby.
Got to get the who at the end.
Got to get the who in there. And I got to, you know, it's great too when you feel like it's game time. You're feeling good. All right, 2 wins on the day. The Eagles, the Sixers, they get the W's, especially the Sixers one here. You got to feel good. You want to relax. Maybe you just want to, it's night, it's cozy out now. The weather is cool, and you want to, I'm just relaxing in my T-shirt and maybe my underwear right here as we just relax. Sixers get a good win. And you know what you do? You put on those Skims, man. That's what you do. Put on the Skims. Your partner will love it. You love it because of the comfortability. And for me, I got the cotton 5-inch briefs, man, the boxer briefs. And they're really, really comfortable. Went to a wedding last night. Had to make sure I had those Skims boxer briefs on. It felt really good. Getting up and down, just kind of moving around a little bit while the music is playing. Standing up and down as you clap for the bride and groom and all that good stuff. You got the Skims on, you feel really comfortable. Then you come home tonight again, like a win tonight, and you get the Sixers W, and you're feeling good. You know, I just want to relax in my boxer briefs, get ready for the week, and Skims, they are the place for you. They are the favorite underwear right now that I have in my possession because of the comfortability. They don't rise up on you, as, again, you have to move so much, and you don't have to worry about any of those things. So they cover everything with Skims, and I would advise you, if you're looking for some new underwear for yourself, maybe for your partner, and you want to do so for the holiday by going to Skims. Shop Skims Men's at skims.com. Let them know that we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. Go to Skims. Once again, skims.com.
And I just want to clarify something. When Devon says he has the 5-inch version, he's talking about the inseam length. Inseam length.
Thank you.
Just looking out
that.
for you, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, on there it doesn't say the inseam length, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now we need to update the copy for that very reason, so I'll remember to say that next time. And if the Sixers go
I just
on
don't
a
want
winning
anyone else
streak,
getting the wrong impression. That's all.
And I appreciate that. But listen, we're a family show. We love everybody. We're on television. We appreciate all our people on Roku TV. Everybody go check out our Roku channel. We're also, can we tell the people about our new TV partner, Samsung? Right? Go to our PHLY channel with Samsung, and you go all that. Sixers go on an 8-game winning streak or a 10-game winning streak. Winona, you might have to check out because I will stand up and show my skims.
PHLY Sixers After Dark, baby.
That's right. That's right. I will show my skims. Well, actually, on the waistband, it just says skims. So that's all I really have to show,
Yeah.
Yeah, just to let everybody know. Skims, baby, skims.com. Go get.
In fairness, it's 10:35 on a Sunday. This is PHLY Sixers After Dark.
But you can watch this tomorrow at 2 o'clock before the 3 o'clock show. And the skims will still be talked about right here because we love the skims. Family
Man, it's
show.
such a big win. We even have Bo Wolf in the chat.
Bo!
Can you believe that?
We got to get Bo some skims. Come on. We got to get Bo some skims. Oh, man. Good win. Yabusele, Skims player of the game. Just because of that, Yabusele with 20 points off the bench. Guerschon Yabusele. We're not going to actual player of the game.
Okay.
I was
going to say, I thought we had this discussion.
We already had that
He's the
discussion.
Skims player of the game.
Do you want to just make it 2 players of the game? Because that's apparently a thing we do now.
No,
Not tonight.
It's the Skims player of the game, the criteria of which we don't know, except Devon
He's making it up as
just
we go.
hands it out to somebody.
Hand out the skims, man. Yabusele, off the bench. He started in the second half, everybody. You were watching with us, but if you weren't and you came on in, Rich, he started the second half because of how good he was in the first half, and quite frankly, because of the play of Andre Drummond wasn't up to the satisfaction of the coach. Drummond at the break had 9 points and 5 rebounds, but it didn't have the feel when you're looking at a 1-point lead at the break. But Yabusele comes in also with 6 points, 2 boards, and just his activity in the 10 minutes and the 38 seconds that he had, knowing where to be on the floor defensively while he lacks in the height, of course, that in Drummond. He just knows where to be, hitting his shots on the offensive end, doing the little things that keeps him on the floor. And he got the call to start off that third quarter, that second half, because of how well he played in the first.
So, as Derek has noted, the Sixers' third quarter so far this year
Sucked.
have been a disaster. Tonight, they completely flipped the script. I thought the offense they ran at the beginning of the third quarter, probably for the first 6 or 7 minutes, with Yabusele in the starting lineup over Andre Drummond, was the cleanest offense they have run the entire season, I think. I know Maxey made some shots against Indy, and a lot of that was just getting Yabu in the ball screens with Paul George, with Lowry once in a while. And Yabu was great. I mean, Derek, you noted in the middle of the game, he's not much of a roller. He rolled a lot tonight.
Yeah.
And he did damage. And he did damage both on the short roll and just the traditional way of scoring on a pick and roll. But there were a lot of times that the Hornets switched that initial screen. He put that guy in jail. He really did. It was a lot of the stuff we saw for France in the Olympics where he just carved out awesome position. He got all the way under the rim, gave the entry passer very easy angles to get on the ball, and he finished. And then there were other times too. Like I remember one play, the Hornets, they scrammed the small out of there and put Grant Williams on him. Yabu with a beautiful step through and then a kind of a reverse with the left hand. He's got some skill around there, folks. He was really good. Made a couple threes. Off of
and rhythm threes too. Normally we're talking about look how long he had to look at and size up the shot. He rhythm three.
And I think as we noted late in the game, as LaMelo started to go downhill, Yabu's going to have his limitations as a rim protector. If you get beat off the dribble and he's the guy who's waiting on the back line, nobody's really a top tier player, somebody who is wherever LaMelo Ball is. The bar is much lower than LaMelo Ball. That guy's not going to be afraid of Yabu contesting the shot. But I think that's the story of the night, right? That you have Jared McCain, who might be a rotation player. Mm-hmm. And I think Yabu, with his age and kind of what you've seen, and just kind of relying on him for a more limited role, I think he's a no doubt rotation player. So it's weird that they've had this 2-7 start, but you've seen really good things from both of those guys and things that will translate when Joel comes in.
And it's wild because we talked about the depth coming in. Yabu and McCain were 2 of the big question marks, and they've been 2 of the more consistent contributors out of this group.
So as you say that, though, Rich, when you talk about who Yabusele is and no doubt in the rotation and what he's going to do, as what, though? Because as he started the second half, it was because of he was better than Andre Drummond. When Joel Embiid plays on Tuesday against the New York Knicks in the NBA Cup game, Yabusele is what? That's the question that I think we all want to see. I'm not really expecting you to have an answer because we don't know yet. We haven't seen him with Joel Embiid.
I think
but
he
the
could do
curiosity of we all want to see him at the 4. But as what now because of the fact that Drummond did struggle tonight?
I think he can do both. And obviously, like, you don't want Joel standing at the 3-point line enough, but like if Joel spaces, like he's got a certain amount of gravity where some of the things he did hunting mismatches, that is Yabu, I mean. I think that could translate to playing with Joel. Obviously, he made some threes tonight. I think he gives you a chance to play both. Like, I guess my point is, Devon, like Drummond's going to have to earn those backup 5 minutes. I just don't think he's been very good to start the year. I think when you look at the plus minus numbers and you look at the on-off numbers, like this early in the season, that can be noisy, that can be misleading. In Drummond's case, it's not.
We're getting like 250 minutes in, though. Like we're getting not a good sample, but a decent sample.
It's not, but I think Yabu has the chance to help you at both of those positions.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really excited, right?
I wonder what those minutes look like, though, because we normally say like 10 to 15 minutes of a backup 5, right, behind Joel Embiid. Then we're asking him to also play those 4 minutes. How much of that can he carry as a backup in general? Can he carry he played 30 minutes tonight. You're not asking that.
No.
So we're talking jumping from 10 to 15 to maybe 15 to 20, 20 to 25 by playing both positions. Not that we haven't seen it in the NBA. We see it all the time. But is he capable of that?
Yeah, I mean, look, when you get I know when I say when you get, like it's a foregone conclusion, it's been a lot of injuries. But when you get your big 3 back and they're all playing 35 plus minutes per night, like you don't need, he can get minutes playing both the 5 and the 4. And I know we spoke recently after the last game where it's like, but I still kind of want to see Andre when he's in a backup role.
Sure.
Only playing against backups.
15 minutes.
Only playing 15 minutes, not overexerting us. He's been so bad, though. That leash, if I were the coach, would be very short. Because as much as Yabu is not a rim protector, he at least is positionally sound. He at least helps with the ball movement when he's at the 5.
Yep.
He's been flat out, even with his limitations, better than Andre Drummond, and it hasn't been particularly close. So, look, I will give Andre Drummond a little bit of a chance when Joel comes back to be that backup 5, to see if he can be a better version of himself. But he needs to be a drastically better version of himself. Otherwise, Yabu might end up being the backup center and play both backup 5 and 4.
Here's a question for you. Do you think that shooting plays at the 4? Because I'm looking at his numbers again.
No, the numbers are solid.
Small sample. He's shooting 7 threes per 36, which is a healthy number. That's 4 numbers. He's making 43% of them. Now, it's early. His free throw numbers, which suggest that there's a regression coming at some point here.
That being said, has he shot more threes than free throws?
Oh, yeah, a bunch more.
So I'm not sure which is the more telling number. It might be the threes right now.
It might just be that I don't trust the way it looks.
He's not a 43%.
And you also just saw him miss 2 free throws in the guts of the game where it was like,
yeah,
that was tough.
That was about 15 minutes ago. So that's sitting right there.
By the way, like this could have a totally different tone, this podcast, if Kyle Lowry just didn't steal that offensive rebound. The most Kyle Lowry thing possible in the biggest moment of the game. Kyle Lowry, who also grifted a couple free throws in overtime. I know he missed one at the end of regulation. Yeah, look, he's playing too many minutes, but he did some veteran savvy type stuff.
He did some Kyle Lowry things, boy,
to get them over the finish line that night.
Yeah.
But no, like the shooting has been good. I always say a lot. Like it's not just the percentages. It's how much is a defender worried about leaving you. And his shot is slow. And there's still a little bit of indecision in the shot. I feel like there's less indecision than there was 2 weeks ago, and hopefully in 2 weeks there will be even less. But teams or players will still leave him on the perimeter, and when you're playing next to Joel, that can't happen. That being said, I think there's been enough positive signs as a shooter that you will continue to give him a chance. But yeah, I worry a little bit, like if he misses, let's say he goes through a 1 for 10 stretch, will he hesitate? Will he,
He will.
He probably will.
He will.
And that becomes a bigger deal at the 4 than 5.
Real quick, I know this is a little bit off topic, but you mentioned slow releases. Devon called this out during our live watch. The slowest release I've ever seen in my life was Caleb Martin making that 3, I think, towards the end of regulation, where he looked down at his feet for 3 seconds and then made the shot.
Mm-hmm.
And kicked his feet out and did some weird stuff with his foot, like in the shooting motion, too.
I don't think that's sustainable. But the motto for tonight is whatever it takes to get a win, and that helped you get a win. I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. He definitely kicked the feet out, but he made it. I mean, look, when you struggle like that and you get a wide open shot, you're going to line up that shot attempt as best as you can and try to will that thing in there, will that shot to go through, right? Because, man, I mean, we've all seen it, we've all discussed it. But the one thing I do appreciate about him is he's not shying away from taking them. He's still taking them. He's open. He's taking them. This is not a Ben Simmons situation or even Markelle Fultz. He wasn't afraid to take them. It just didn't go for him. So I appreciate Caleb Martin still doing that. The only issue with that one was, as he lined that one up, was you gave that guy enough time to recover to potentially block that one.
Yeah.
Not the fact that you were going to miss it. That thing could have been blocked, kept in play, and going the other way for a fast break opportunity. But you're right. That one was a tough one in the moment. But I'm glad he knocked it down.
Tonight, the only thing that matters that it went in. You can't keep doing that moving forward.
No, you cannot, man. And look, we had so many more positive things to talk about, including with Yabusele. We do have to talk, unfortunately, about some disappointing things. And that's when mentioning Andre Drummond, a few others in this victory, the officials getting to overtime at all, letting go of a 16-point lead. I was blamed for that. My fault, Igavini. I didn't mean it. I just had to go away and get my power cord there for the computer. But all that said, they got the win. When we come back.
So what you're saying is you weren't prepared for the start of the show.
I was
if you
not
were prepared, you would have had your power cord at the beginning.
You're absolutely right. That was my bad. All right, when we come back, we'll get to our player of the game. We'll talk about a few more things in this one, both good and bad, as Sixers pick up the 107-105 win at home against the Charlotte Hornets. They're now 2-7 on the campaign, and they get ready for a tougher week ahead. But right now, you bask in this win as we discuss it here tonight on the PHLY Sixers podcast, the postgame show. And I almost ran to get that power cord, as Derek is talking about, because I didn't want my computer to die, as we know we were going to have a post-game show. So with it, you know why I was able to run? My Achilles is fixed, man. Rothman Orthopedics, they took care of me. They can take care of you. So for all of you who are like me, who want to get out there and still maintain whatever athleticism that you still have, to be able to play the games that you love, whether it's the playing of the games, whether it's a specialty like gardening where you have to get down so much and be able to maneuver the way that you need to do to do your gardening, to play basketball, to play some pickleball, whatever it is. You want to be able to be healthy enough to get those things done. And Rothman Orthopedics made sure that I was able to simply not only just play basketball again, to run all the way down to the other end of our office to get the power cord, as Rich shows the moves that I have there, right? I lift my legs.
That being said, I don't want you to make another trip to Rothman, so maybe just walk briskly.
But I ran, man, and I could do it because of Rothman Orthopedics. They specialize in me, they specialize in you, and they have orthopedic services that include hip, knee, spine, shoulder and elbow, foot and ankle, hand and wrist, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation, orthopedic oncology, and trauma and fracture care as well. Year over year, Rothman consistently perform among the highest volume of hip, knee, shoulder, and ankle replacements in the country with over 60,000. So again, if you are having any issues and if you do run into a problem, just a heads up, Rothman Orthopedics, they are the place for you. And Rothman Orthopedics specializes in orthopedics and you and me. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more and make an appointment today.
And I want to tell you guys about ZBiotics. You can get 15% off with the code PHLY Sixers. It is a game-changing product that I now use. I took some from over there. We got a bunch in the office that you use before a night out with drinks. It's called pre-alcohol. Let's face it, after a night with drinks, we're all getting up there. We don't bounce back the same way that we used to. And I have made a choice. I can either get a great night or the next day. That is, until I found pre-alcohol. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this product down. Just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night. Before those gin and tonics start flowing or whatever you're going to use. Drink responsibly and you will feel your best tomorrow. I kept hearing about pre-alcohol and wondered what it was actually like. Now that I've tried it, I believe the hype. And with ZBiotics GMO technology, they will release different products that help address toxic byproducts of modern living in the gut. Go to zbiotics.com/PHLY Sixers to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use PHLY Sixers at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with 100% money back guaranteed. So if you are unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked.
All right. And when you have that kind of money to get the stuff that Rich is talking about there, you want to make sure that you do some, you win some bets and all. And we'll tell you about our good friends as we welcome you back to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Hopefully you won some money today on Football Sunday or a Basketball Sunday. And you can go in and purchase the Z-Biotics there to make sure that you're good to go. Since we were talking about Rothman, we might as well get right to it, Bree. Let's talk about, number one, our player of the game, and show everybody who our player of the game is for tonight.
I swear, if you bring out 2 or 3 players, Devon.
That's one.
That's one guy right there, man. He deserved it all by himself tonight. Following that 18, 19-point performance against the Lakers, where he probably should have had it by himself, player of the game, on Friday, but he didn't. So you know what? We rebound and give it to him on Sunday. 27 points for Jared McCain. He was fantastic off the bench. Played 30 minutes and 58 seconds. He 10 of 18 from the floor, 3 of 8 from beyond the three-point line. Hit a big shot when Kyle Lowry made a great play getting to the middle of the paint. Kicked it to him right there in front of the Hornets bench.
Good relocation.
Oh,
there.
man.
Smart.
Oh, man. And just lined that one up. Seemed like he was fading a little bit to his left because of the momentum of relocating to that spot. Knocking down that 3 of 8 from 3, made all 4 of his free throws, including some big ones down the stretch there, some key free throws down the stretch, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, only 1 turnover in just about 31 minutes of play with as much as he handled the basketball.
And if that was his turnover, the one?
That's the turnover.
Then that's 0 turnovers.
Yeah,
because that was not a turnover. You're not allowed to tackle a guy because you just touched the ball first. You cannot go through a guy, swipe across his chest. Guys, what is going on with the Sixers and end-of-game reviews right now? The Indiana game was ridiculous. They survived. That call tonight was ridiculous. I think Nick Nurse is somehow so bad at challenges with emotional challenges. The one he challenged tonight, which was like a Caleb Martin fighting for a defensive board early in the game. Ridiculous.
With Taj Gibson.
It's like the equivalent in the NFL of challenging like a 3-yard game in the first quarter. There's just no reason to do it. And you know why there's no reason to do it, Nick? Because at the end of the game, they just start making stuff up. Like, in what world is that not a foul? It's crazy. I don't know. It's driving me crazy. Replay.
He fouled him with his head. He fouled him with his left arm. He grabbed him from behind with his right arm. Somehow, jump ball. I don't get it either.
That was crazy.
If you're watching a live stream, like that's one where we just and look, we're not really like I hate blaming refs. I hate it. And a couple seconds later, Devon was calling for a 5-second. I was like, yeah, but they usually don't call that. That one's not going to annoy me too much. But man, this was one of the more egregious. And it's one thing to miss a call in real time, right? They're human. That happens. It's always going to happen. It's an unavoidable part of the game. I frankly want it. Like there's that big debate in baseball whether you should have robot umps. I like a little human element in it. But man, if you go to replay and you're going to slow down the game and stop the game in a crucial minute, get it right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I can't believe that happened.
For 45 minutes of the game, LaMelo Ball makes that reach. He might complain. Charles Lee is looking at him like, why did you do that?
Yes.
And yet, he gets
16 seconds
He gets
left.
to twirl his finger with 16 seconds left, and the ref slows it down and says, you know what? His fingertip might have touched it before he basically tackled him and forearm shivered him. It's ridiculous.
By the way, when you froze it, Rich, you went face to face first.
Face to face.
Face to face first. That was crazy. Jared McCain deserved a little bit better. By the way, I mean, Jared McCain was in the he was so good. He was in the game. The ball was in his hands at that point with 16 seconds left because of how great he was tonight. So it doesn't stop there. Because Derek said, you better not have 3 players of the game and combine them at the end. We just basically gave it to Jared McCain after the fact for what he did on Friday against the Los Angeles Lakers. So since we talked about Rothman, and Rothman being our great sponsor that they are, the Rothman who won the week award winner is none other, Rich, than Jared McCain.
He's cleaning up.
Look at him, man. You might as well call in tonight, my man, and jump on the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
That trophy case is full.
Ah, man, it's filling up. He is the Rothman Award winner of the week. And again, as we just told you about Rothman and how great they are, make sure if you are looking for some treatment in general, Rothman Orthopedics, they specialize in orthopedics, and you visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more and make an appointment today. More than well deserved.
Rico Hines, this is according to Adam Aronson, Sixers Adam on Twitter. Rico chased down the game ball, brought it to Jared, gave it to him, so he gets the game ball for that one. Brought it with him to the podium, so I guess he gets a little bit of a souvenir for that, and he deserved it.
The shelf is filling up, man. The shelf is filling up.
Put that ball right next to the Rothman Player of the Week award.
By the way, Rico Hines, hey, he's assistant coach, floor cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
And basketball game change, you got to go chase the ball down. Glad Giannis wasn't in the building. Otherwise, that might have been a problem. But Rico Hines, triple threat, man. Triple threat for the work that Rico Hines did after cleaning up because Kelly Oubre slammed the water bottle on the floor because of his terrible first quarter performance.
In addition to being a famous skill development coach and a really good player, he also has great attention to detail.
Yes,
he
does. That's
That's
a life lesson for everybody.
That's good stuff right there. Good stuff right there from Rico Hines. Great stuff right there for Jared McCain because of all the work put in. But no, he deserved it. I mean, to win the week the way that he did. Earlier, we talked about the points. First of all, we talked about his month where he was 0-4 in the month of October in the 4 games. 4 games in the month of November, he's shooting over 40% from 3, made some big 3-pointers tonight. One of them where he walked into it and Derek was like, no, that's what he does. I know it was just time and situation, and he knocked it down. So the guy's confidence is there. We saw him at Summer League taking those shots, missing them when we were watching in the practice setting where he was missing those shots. You all saw it, missing them in those Summer League games, and here he is at game number 9 in a spot where they really desperately needed this win tonight. And he was the one that was out there with the ball in his hands. They were looking for him, Rich. They were calling for him to come get the basketball, even when Paul George was out there on the floor. That's how good he was. That's why he is the Rothman Award winner of the week.
Well deserved. Let's talk about PG.
Let's do that.
Up and down night. I think a lot of people, if they had lost this game, would be looking back at his last shot, which was a very awkward play because to throw him the ball in the corner.
Yes.
When you also want to take the last shot was a weird choice.
Unless, because they set a screen to get him in the corner, unless your goal was to take a quick shot, that call made no sense. Because once he hesitated and stopped, he was trapped.
That would have been a heck of an ATO with 3 seconds left in the game, 2 seconds. And he kind of, I think it almost even messed with him because he was like, I got so wide open off of this. The normal move would be.
That's why I called it in the
normal move
moment.
would be to shoot it right away. Devon said, just
drive, just go.
Take it all the way to the rim, and he probably could have. So that was bad. The last 4 plays that the Sixers made, Caleb Martin screwing up the back screen that his brother got, which Devon was funny because he was like, come on, man, you got to know where your twin's at, right? There should be some sort of telekinesis going on with the two of them.
You should know.
So that was one. Kyle Lowry only goes 1-2 from the free throw line, one of the not very veteran of Kyle there. And then LaMelo.
He made up for it on free throws later, though. Not that he made, but on the rebound.
Oh, he absolutely.
And the steal on the sideline.
He absolutely made up for it. And then Caleb Martin, I think he completely screwed that up. That's a crazy shot that LaMelo hits in the corner. But you can't give up that short corner. You can give up the pass to the top of the key because the guy's moving away from the basket. I don't know. I thought that was a comedy of errors down the stretch, including the Paul George shot. He finished 6 of 18 from the field, 1 of 9 from 3. I said before the game that it would have to be a big Paul George 3-point shooting night to get the win. Wrong. But it was good that the Sixers were able to do it. He did some nice things, like they ran some right block post-ups for him.
Yep.
And I thought he made some difficult shots. But as the game kind of got tight at the end there, I think he missed 5 straight shots down the stretch.
After they brought him back for that last round.
I thought he ran some pretty good offense. I thought his defense was good. But yeah, like his decision-making and his shooting at the end was pretty rough. So he's clearly not in the swing of things, and then they just take him out for all of overtime. That's like
it was the Jared McCain show, so it was all good, man.
That's like Joel Embiid circa 2016 when he's when he's kicking the chair. Remember he did that when they took him out for overtime?
Yeah.
The difference is Joel Embiid did not have Jared McCain back then. Jared McCain might have been in like 4th grade back then.
So as we talk about the veteran move of Kyle Lowry, we'll get back to Paul George because I have thoughts on your point about that last play, Rich. Maybe we'll even talk about it with our guy, the veteran move, jumping right here, right around that 40-plus minute mark from the center, where the Sixers got the W. He got to see the full LaMelo experience, but it was overtaken by the Jared McCain experience. Kyle Neubeck with us. Kyle, it was the Jared McCain game. He got them the victory that they needed to stop that 5-game losing streak.
Fellas, I cannot believe you are still upright and talking about this team right now. I just want to first say I commend you.
Compared to last week, this is early.
I commend you. Well, listen, it's not about
6 hours, though.
early.
Straight.
I was going to say it's the amount of time, and so I just want to give a brief round of applause, golf clap for you guys over there. Yeah, I mean, look, thankfully they escaped with a win, because if they did not win that game, I think hellfire would have rained down on this arena for giving away a 16-point fourth quarter lead to the Charlotte Hornets. Thankfully, and obviously, as we were all expecting coming into the season, the dynamic two-man duo of Jared McCain and Guerschon Yabusele carried them down the stretch. I think it was, I'm sure you guys noticed it, but it was remarkable that the guy with the most composure on the floor for the basketball team was the 20-year-old rookie. That was, hats off to Jared, and just side eye at every veteran player on that team for their various nonsense that happened late in that game.
Was there a pool report? Did they ever explain that overturn call that you know of?
There was a pool report. I actually could probably pull it up and read it to you directly. So Noah Levick of NBC Sports Philadelphia was on duty. Courtney Kirkland said it was clear and conclusive that LaMelo Ball deflected the ball with his left hand prior to any contact. Because it was clear and conclusive, they were able to overturn the call. The follow-up question was about if there was contact after touching the ball. And Kirkland said it was not a foul because he legally deflected the ball from the offensive player. And
so after you deflect the ball, you can tackle him?
I suppose that's the new rule in the NBA. So not exactly sure how that made its way into the rule book, but that's straight from Courtney Kirkland's mouth. So there you have it.
No loose ball foul there, huh? Guess
I
not.
got it.
Guess not.
Kyle,
I'm as perplexed as you guys are on that one.
I mean, it was crazy. Kyle, we spent a lot of tonight talking about the two guys who were on the fringe of the rotation probably at the start of the year, who look like they might be sticking around for a while, and that's Jared McCain and Guerschon Yabusele. I guess whether you were talking to them after the game, I heard that Rico Hines brought the ball for McCain after his huge performance, or just what you observed. What did you make of really either of those guys' nights?
Yeah. So again, I think the thing that really stands out with Jared is that for a kid who's 20 years old, he is very calm and very composed. And I think even when he's not shooting well, even when he goes on a bad run, I just think he kind of has this steady, even keel, unflappable type of personality. And frankly, it's something that he has said he works on multiple levels, right? Like we all hear the stories about he's a gym rat and he's getting so many shots up and he's in the weight room and whatever else. The other thing though is that he works with like a sports psychologist, and he works on the mental side of like keeping himself centered and balanced at all times, not getting too high, not getting too low. And so it's kind of a weird thing to say, but I think he like actually actively works on that to the point that it's an asset for him in a game. And so I think that has stood out. On top of tonight, he finished at the rim better than he ever has. And I was super impressed with that, because that's been a pretty big struggle for him. With Guerschon, I just think, and we've talked about this on the show, I just think you see that he's a smart basketball player, right? Like he makes up for what he lacks in height with timely rotations on defense. He makes a lot of little connective passes in the middle of the floor, along the baseline. He's always moving too, and I think that's the thing that I noticed that probably translated from playing in Europe where they play more motion offense and it's a lot of screen, relocate, find the ball. And if you're not finding the ball, hit somebody with your body and then, roll hard to the rim. It's a sort of constant motion that I think you don't see with a lot of guys on the roster. You certainly don't see it with Andre Drummond, who he's frankly just wildly outplaying right now. So I think, look, we saw it to open the second half. Yabu got the start, and Nurse said afterward something to the effect of, look, we've been coming out in these third quarters and just been getting pasted, and I wanted to switch something up. And it was a talking point before the game as well that, Yabu and the minutes he's playing, they're just better right now. So I am really interested if Drummond is still going to retain this backup 5 job once Joel is back, because as of right now, on merit, Yabusele has just been straight up better, even with the limitations that he has.
Well, that was going to be my next question. With the second half and the changing of the center at halftime, did you get any indication that was just the flow of the game, or if that could portend to something down the road?
Well, so in pregame, Nurse said a big reason that group is working a lot better with Yabu is just he's shooting well and he offers spacing that Andre simply won't. And he also conceded, look, Andre could probably do some more to help himself, make some more of these putbacks, make some easy ones around the rim. I don't know if you guys remember the play. There was one in the second half where Andre was rolling and looked like he had a clear open dunk, and for some reason just did not take it, took a dribble, and then picked up an offensive foul, lowering his shoulder into someone. So I don't know that he'll go away from Andre just yet, because he has been out of his, quote unquote role that he'll probably play over the long term. But I think if you're trying to make it just about this is who's playing well and this is who deserves to play, it's Yabusele. And frankly, I think this is going to happen with some other guys too. Like we talked about Jeff Doughton a little bit tonight. He had a nice shift off the bench that Reggie Jackson got his 2 games, and Nick said, look, you go with the vets first. They get their chance. And now it's time to kind of see some younger guys. So while Yabu is not Jared McCain's age, obviously, he's a bit more of an unknown quantity. But now that he's shown up, I think he has every chance in the world to at least play a pretty significant role. Not sure on the replacing Drummond part.
All right. Well, listen, man, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Of course, you'll be back with us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Make sure you all go read Kyle's piece at allphly.com to get his latest, his instant reaction, instant observations of the game, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I imagine Yabusele and Jared McCain are part of the good tonight for what they did.
Well, here's some more good for Derek specifically. No Sixers practice tomorrow. So we are off the hook until 3 p.m., buddy.
Well, we'll see you then, man. Drive safe. We'll see you for the show
too,
tomorrow.
Guys.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Kyle Neubeck joining us live from the center. And we'll come right back and get into a little bit more. We get to the Super Chats as well right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
And I'm going to tell you about our friends at Rite Aid. Don't miss the big game. Get a flu shot at Rite Aid while at the pharmacy. Get the latest COVID-19 vaccine and stay up to date on others. You can even ask your pharmacist for a vaccine review or recommendations. The CDC recommends getting a flu shot every year. A person's immune protection from vaccination declines over time, so help protect yourself against the flu by getting your annual flu shot at Rite Aid today. Flu viruses are constantly changing, according to the CDC. You can get your annual shot at Rite Aid. Just walk in to your local Rite Aid or schedule at riteaid.com. And you don't need to just get your flu shot either, too. Get whatever you want. You can get the candy we were eating tonight. You can get shampoo,
Speaking of that,
toothpaste, whatever you need. Or whatever.
Right there.
I'll find it.
Okay, so you can just walk into your local Rite Aid or schedule at riteaid.com. State, age, and health restrictions apply. Ask your Rite Aid pharmacist for details.
We also want to make sure we tell you about TrueMark, specifically their TrueMark Financial Rewards Visa credit card. Earn rewards for each purchase using TrueMark Financial's Rewards Visa credit card and redeem them for travel and retail gift cards. Build credit through timely payments and low credit utilization. Enjoy fraud protection with features like zero liability. We also make sure we tell you about some of the savings options available to you with TrueMark Financial. They have a traditional savings account, which is a basic savings account offering a place to deposit funds, earn interest, and withdraw money as needed. There is a money market account, which combines features of savings and checking accounts, offering higher interest rates and limited check writing capabilities, easy access to your money when you need it. Then finally, there is a certificate, which is a fixed-term deposit account with a predetermined interest rate and maturity date, offering higher interest rates for locking in funds for a specific period. TrueMark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity lender. For more information, visit truemark.com/PHLY.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers postgame show presented by Bet365. Let's check in on some of our super chats that we do have here. Quickly, though, on the Paul George thing, I did want to say this before we went on that play, in the regulation where he did not drive quickly and all. And you talked about going, back to the basket instead of putting the ball on the floor, facing up and going. That's the same side that he likes, though, that we talked about in the first half.
Yeah, that's where he's getting those
exactly, yeah. So maybe that's something they felt like he had an advantage of. But while it worked, and you talked about those in the moment while the game was going on, it didn't work as much in the second half as it did in the first.
Yeah.
So that was the puzzling part about it. But to the point of why that side, why that spot, because of the success that he had earlier, everybody else had already loaded up on the other side, on the weak side, to give him that space outside of the entry pass, of course, because he had a lot of room. And that's why when he caught it and he spun, he didn't realize he was so open. And even though there were 8 seconds on the clock, and Derek, you were probably right, you too, Rich, want to take the last shot. That was open.
Yeah.
Spin and go.
Yep.
Explode to the basket. You probably leave them about 5 seconds left on the clock, and just hope that your defense on the other end holds up, because it was there. But that's all I wanted to add is to that point, that was his side, that right side of the floor.
NBA coaches, for whatever, we know the reason, because they're conservative and they want to get the last shot. But it's so crazy that they default to just running just a garbage ISO at the end of the game.
I know.
And here's the thing. If they were down one, they would have ran that play to get PG that shot, and he would have taken it right away, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like regardless of who the Sixers coach has been over the years, like if they're down one, they run a beautiful play and end up getting a good shot. But if it's tied, it's like, all right, we're going to take like a 20%er just so we can either win the game or get to overtime. But it feels like, I don't know, it feels like the percentages are out of whack. It feels like you need to be a little bit more aggressive than that. I don't know. It just
reminds me a little bit. Remember when they got Jimmy? And like he made 2 game winners in like the first couple of games that he played, and they were awful shots.
That was the Nets.
But they were fun to watch, though.
They were fun to watch.
The Nets and Charlotte.
But they were not good shots.
That was part of my complaint here, though, is like, just don't put Paul George in the corner.
It was the same shot. Yeah, it was
fadeaways.
Fadeaway 3 on the right wing.
At least he was in the center of the floor, though. Like, I hated the fact that play was in the corner. I hated it.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
All right. That was just my 2 cents on it. Let's get to the super chats. Davon, a.k.a. Schoolboy Beats. Eric and Reggie belong on the coaching staff now.
Those are some rough Eric Gordon minutes tonight, guys.
17 minutes he played tonight.
He was well rested because he was a DNP CD the other night.
He did nothing tonight, but frustrate the hell out of Rich while we were watching the game.
To be fair,
Reggie,
for the most part, has been on the bench. Reggie has not been playing all that regularly, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough one overall. Real time. Prince, I can confirm. Kyle. 6'3", that he is 6'3" and has a what?
RBF.
There you go.
Resting face.
We're all tired. We had some long nights last week. Plus, it was Kyle's birthday.
No, I mean, I can be a backup source on that. He is both 6'3" and tends to have RBF. I think that's fair. But so do I, so I can't blame him for that. Like, sometimes you're just born with RBF. What do you want from me?
He also celebrated his birthday yesterday, so, congratulations.
You're saying it might be hungover RBF?
Z-Biotics.
Get that Z-Biotics.
Z-Biotics. We also have a few more super chats here from Ryan, Matt, and Bernard. And before we get to those, we do want to say that for all the people, we appreciate those of you watching on TV, both Roku and Samsung. We appreciate those. If you want to continue to check out our show here as we go a little bit longer than the 60 minutes, head over to allphly.com for more of the show. Once you get to the YouTube side of things, of course, just hit the live, bang, and you're right there with us right here on the show. Also, if you want to become a diehard member, Sign up for the Die Hard program at allphly.com while you're there. Sign up for the Die Hard program. You get Rich's newsletter in the morning. You get Kyle's instant observations right now from the game, and you'll get Derek's thoughts tomorrow as well from this game. Allphly.com. Become a Die Hard member. Exclusive content. Exclusive at the for the discourse there with the PHLY Lounge, and you get a free T-shirt, or you get a T-shirt. You sign up for the Die Hard program, you get a T-shirt with it. So make sure you do that. Allphly.com.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the super chats here. Let's go to Bernard. Great win. Nick Nurse finally learned that he needs to keep the lineup youthful and athletic. He trusted the young guys more, and I wish that he would do that more. And they had a score.
With the youthful and athletic,
Done it sooner.
that would be Jared, obviously, and that would also be
27-year-old Yabusele.
So they're not necessarily
I was thinking
more
Jeff
athletic.
Okay, but he's also 27.
They might be more athletic.
Well, they're more athletic compared to who we're talking
Drummond
about.
and
Gordon
Lowry
and
and
Reggie
Gordon,
Jackson. Yeah.
That's a fair statement.
Yeah.
But it's not like all of those, like outside of Jared, who's young, who's legitimately young, both in experience and in age. Outside of that, they're kind of like old young players.
It's just Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
The other young guys that you play
And Ricky.
are Ricky and KJ Martin. He's a fifth-year guy.
But he's still, what is he, 24?
He's 24. So remember he said it at training, I'm on the cusp of being the young guy and NBA vet. So those are the ones. But the interesting question to go with that is, though, you guys both made the point of it. Yeah, they're doing that now, but how much will Nick Nurse trust it going forward? Because when Jared McCain does hit that rough patch, Yabusele does hit that rough stretch, and then he has to go away from him. You go away from them, but the big test is when do you go back to them after going away from them to see if they still have
and
it.
that's something like in Bernard's comment. He said, I wish he had done it sooner. I do too, but I'm a little more worried about what he does going forward and whether or not he keeps him in the rotation or whether he defaults to the older veterans who he trusts the decision-making more of. I've said it time and again today. I would definitely keep him in a rotation. We'll see what Nick does.
I mean, I just think McCain, with the level that he played at, he's played pretty well over the last 3 or 4 games too. But
he had 18 the other night.
Particularly the level that he's played at tonight. Like I think he kind of left no doubt that he's going to stick around here. I mean, it would be outrageous to not have him in the rotation.
It wouldn't shock me though, and Tom Jackson brings it up in the chat. It wouldn't shock me if he wants to see Gordon next to Embiid before he makes a drastic change.
Sure, but
It's like the Buddy Hill thing with the shooting.
Yeah.
Somebody can get injured. There's a long time between now and April. Like Jared McCain needs to be in the rotation.
By the way, Tyrese Maxey's not playing on Tuesday or Wednesday. We don't think.
No.
So you're gonna have to find out part of your question right now.
I don't even think he'd be reevaluated by that time.
Yeah.
When was the announcement that he'd be reevaluated in a week?
That was after
2 weeks or
that was Wednesday's game, the Clippers. Yeah. So that's the full week is Wednesday. But the whole thing of it is you're gonna have to find out now. To your question, just because of the mere fact that Tyrese Maxey's not going to be there and you're going to need that guard help. All right, let's go to Ryan Z. Ryan says, Jeff Doughton and Jared McCain are greater than Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon. Give them that floor time. And let's go Sixers. Ryan saying that they are greater.
I mean, I think definitely Gordon. Kyle Lowry did some good stuff tonight.
He did. Yeah, he did. The only thing we really talked about was splitting the free throws down the guts of the game. But other than that, he was fine. He didn't make his threes, but he made the first one that they needed in the second half.
Yep. So he played 33 minutes tonight. He played 28 in regulation. It needs to be less than that still.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they don't have very many. So And look, I called before the game, like I'd like to see some Jeff Doughton minutes. They got some Jeff Doughton minutes. That 28's a little misleading because it was overtime. I don't have a huge problem with his usage. It's just they don't have enough players right now to limit it too much.
Look, and he made some winning plays. I mean, Devon said obviously that there was that relocation 3 that McCain hit. I mean, that started with Lowry attacking the closeout, getting into the teeth of the defense, and
he knew where he was going with that basketball.
and finding him.
Yep. No, I at no point you will not hear me, especially with this team, advocate for like removing Kyle from the rotation.
Yeah.
It's just get it into the teens.
Yeah. He's so smart, though.
He is.
No, he's the smartest in-game player on the team by far.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Matt Webster. Final one. So with the full roster in the playoffs, how many minutes are McCain and Yabu getting? Love you guys. Always listening, but rarely able to listen live. Matt, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
We're so far from the playoffs. It's hard to say, in part because I think there's another significant trade coming down the pipeline. That being said, like
Matt paid the money. Give him an answer.
I just said that being said. I was transitioning into that, Rich. I'm just laying out the fact that there's a lot still to come, including some significant changes. A-hole. No, but like I've mentioned, I think he should be like give Gordon a shot playing next to Embiid, but I think McCain has outplayed him. I would have him ahead of Gordon in the rotation. I'd have him ahead of Reggie in the rotation. And Yabu, we've spent the entire time being like, I think he should be playing over Drummond. Even, and again, if maybe you want to evaluate Drummond in his current role, but I would have a quick hook because I think he's played better. And I think my concern with Drummond was always, I don't think he transitions to the playoffs at all. So even if you're getting a regular season innings eater, I don't trust him when it actually matters. And unless they make a significant trade, then yeah, I think they both are in the rotation. Given what we know after 8 games, it's only 8 games, yada, 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 disclaimer. Based on what we've seen, yes, I think they should both be in the rotation when it matters.
Right now, Yabu, I mean, so Joel plays, 38 to 40 minutes in the playoffs? So you give him all the other center minutes, throw another 15, 20 on at the 4. I mean,
He could play 20, 25.
Yeah, he's pushing. I think 25 was the number I got to. Yeah.
Definitely keep the wings out there with him, though. At that point, Paul George would be Paul George by the playoffs.
Yeah, and like
the other 2 wings, if they're still here, you have that defensive help.
You'll have another player
on the wing. Yeah. And look, I mean, heck, how many times have we talked about it where the trade is mentioned and we bring up McCain possibly being in any deal? So we have no idea at this point how many minutes Jared McCain will play for the Sixers in the postseason if he's here to play those minutes in the postseason. Well, guys, this has been a fun one. It's 11.
Oh, it's so much nicer to do that. Can you imagine if we were sitting here at 11:30 after 5 hours of being on the air live, if this was a loss? Ooh, that would have been a tough one.
He's very close. Brandon Miller, open look.
And thank you, Kyle Lowry, for that steal right in front of your bench. Because the second overtime, boy, that would have been rough.
I would have lost my sanity.
That would have been rough. Brandon Miller, how do you wide open 3? That was a good look, boy. That was a good look. But thank you for missing it. Kyle Lowry, great steal at the end there. Jared McCain, Yabusele, fantastic work by you all. Folks, this is the end of our show. We really appreciate everybody hanging in. Once again, our show was presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And we want to thank Kyle Neubeck for joining us from the arena. We want to thank all
Kyle
of
Lowry
you.
for getting that offensive rebound.
Correct. We want to thank all of you for hanging out with us on the pregame, during the watch along, and here with us on the postgame show. We will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Did you type in any thank yous, the roll call? Folks,
Did
you type in any roll call names for tonight?
I got an entire list, buddy.
The world famous roll call, baby. Let's get to it.
All right, and I've got a lot of names to go through because I was taking notes throughout the whole show. We'll start off with SB Cole.
What up, SB?
Charles B. Jess with the Purple Heart.
Hey, Jess.
I guess we'll just go to Winona right there as
Nona.
well. Matt Webster, Jay at the Jungle.
What up, Jay?
Eugene Ross.
Gene.
RDB LK84.
That's a new one.
Yeah. And I typed the letter
not
with
MDB.
spaces just so I could read it pretty quickly.
That's
I know
pretty good job.
that's a tough one. Clyde.
Welcome.
Jaron Drummond.
What up, Jay? Is that your cousin?
Tom Jackson.
My cousin is playing on Tuesday. It's going to be a busy night.
Hanwei Lee. You're not rooting for him, though. You're not a trader.
You can root for him individually. All right.
Maybe you just should take that show off, buddy.
All right.
Mitch Beats.
What up, Mitch?
Spo Babby.
Spo Babby.
Music Lover 31.
Play that music.
Ego Emi Apologetics.
Doka.
We even had
I know your name.
We even had Bo Wolf in here.
I know your name. What up, Bo? Got to get you some skims.
Reese. Lego Mania 2008.
What up, Lego?
The 2-minute warning.
What up, Al?
Mr. Helicopter Propeller, I'll call you. Because I'm not saying that full one. Aaron.
What up, Aaron?
Genie, Smy Guy.
It's my guy.
Phi Chi. Al Mac.
Phi Chi had to
Remo
get ready
K.
for work. Had to get out. What up,
Khalil
Remo?
Wilson.
What up, Lil?
Ronald L. Cannoli.
Holy cannoli.
Mr. Midrange. Noob.
10 foot. Knock that jumper down, baby.
Mr. McCain tonight.
That's right.
Frank C.
What up, Frank?
Sid. Money Mar.
Money
and
Mar.
Marty Bones is who I got. Let me
What
see
up,
if somebody.
Bones? Oh, we missed
Say
a
a
lot of
Rider. Say a Rider chimed in here at the very end. And then, of course, we have the super chats, real time with Prince Blue, who got to meet Kyle.
people. Yes.
Nice of him for that. Ryan Z, Matt Webster, Bernard McCoy, and Davon, a.k.a. Schoolboy.
What
Beats.
up,
Appreciate you
Davon?
guys.
Appreciate it. Yes, Gene, we know he's a Nick. You can, as long as he scores the points and they lose, that's what matters. Right? Right. Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Sure.
We'll talk to everybody tomorrow. For Rich, Derek, Kyle, Bree.
Make
I'm
sure
Devon.
to subscribe, and I'm putting Devon on the spot. Make sure to hit the bell icon so you get
Ding!
notifications.
They were in the studio down there. We didn't get it.
Excuses, man. You've got so many excuses.
You didn't want me running down there again and having to visit.
Well, that's true.
Rockland.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Old-
Yeah, thank you. Well, for everybody, we appreciate it. We did hit the bell button. We see the bell icons in the chat. We'll be back tomorrow at 3. Rich, you'll be back on Tuesday.
Yep, Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday and
I think
Wednesday.
I'm in with Roy on Tuesday because you're hanging with fam, and then you'll be back with me.
I'll be with you on Wednesday. Yep, absolutely. So everybody, we appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us all evening long. We really do appreciate it. And we'll talk to you tomorrow at 3. Have a good rest of your night. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.